G'day, I'm Russ from Artisan Equine, and I'd like to take you through our new Artisan Equine Galloping treadmill. So to begin with, it's got a speed of 48 kilometers an hour and an incline of 6 degrees. Okay, so this is our dashboard here. It's a pretty basic unit. It's got a touchscreen and a few simple controls. So when the power is on, all we need to do is press start, and you'll see the belt will start moving. The minimum speed on this machine is 2 kilometers per hour. The maximum speed is 48 kilometers an hour. We can increase the incline, so the machine is actually raising up at the front, but you'll notice that the platform that we're standing on is not moving at all. So that's always in the constant position. You can bring that back down. We've got a stopwatch, we've got elapsed time, we've got distance, speed, and the incline in degrees. We've got fans, and I'll take you through those a little bit later. There's 2 fans on the front, 3 speeds. We can adjust the speed. I've actually made sure that we've got a rotary dial here for the speed. We find that's a lot more tactile and it's a lot safer when you're trying to handle your horse. If we had it all set up on the touchscreen and you're trying to handle your horse here and you're fumbling around, where do I actually press? I think that's a little bit dangerous, so we've made a decision to keep that with a little rotary dial like that. We've got a USB charging port for your phone. This is an option. We can have a wireless charging pad as well. And we've also got a drink holder over here for those cold mornings when you're up here for 3 or 4 or 5 hours. You've got somewhere to keep your nice hot coffee. Got a side gate here, so you can basically lead your horse on, come out through the side gate, and close it, and away you go. The machine will not operate if this gate is open, and it won't operate if the back gate is open as well. We've got options here. We can either have a chest strap at the front, we can put a chest bar, same thing at the back. We've got a back bar over here. It's a quick release unit. This is an option, but basically if a horse was to get a leg over, it's just a matter of moving the handle and pushing the back bar back, and then the whole thing will drop down. Okay, we keep our electronics box, which is housing all sorts of things, including the inverter or the electronic drive unit. We keep that up high here on top of the platform, and the reason we do this is that we have an inlet for cooling air in here, and then we have an exhaust fan here. That's got a filter in it. If we had that on the bottom, on the ground, it would suck in a lot of dirt, and if that filter becomes blocked, then you don't get that cooling within the unit itself. And if you get an overheat situation in the inverter, then the whole machine will stop. So we thought it's best to keep that up here, and from a maintenance point of view, it's very simple. We can just lower this lid and do what we've got to do. Lubricator here. It holds around about 3.3 litres of silicone oil. That's a special grade that we use on our machine. And if we have a look underneath, this whole lubrication setup is made in-house. We've designed it in-house and built it in-house. And what we like about this particular unit, we call it a positive displacement unit. And what that means is, as it gives a shot of a dose of oil, it'll actually do the same thing today as what it will do in 6 months, as what it will do in 5 years. It'll always be the same amount of oil. We don't have any fluctuations in the amount of oil which is actually being dispensed. So we paid a lot of attention to that, and what we actually have is 4 nozzles which go onto the belt itself. You can see there's those little coppery looking lines. They're actually steel lines, and they will dispense that oil exactly where it's needed within the belt itself. Okay, in terms of the motor itself and the drive unit, what we do, we've got a 15 kilowatt motor here. So this blue section is the actual electric motor. The grey part is a reduction gearbox, and this part in here is our coupling. It's a rubber coupling, and the reason we use a rubber coupling is that as the horse is moving on the belt, the belt speeds up and slows down multiple times in a second. Every time the horse strides, the belt is being driven, and then as it's not striding, the motor is driving the belt. So we get these huge fluctuations in speed many times per second. So by using a rubber coupling, it takes out all of that shock on the mechanical parts, and we find that to be incredibly important. We have this funnel arrangement for the back ramp, and the reason is, as you're leading a horse, you might be leading a horse around here, it sort of funnels the horse in to the treadmill part itself. This is an option. We can also do this with a wide ramp like what we've got on the front, which we'll show you a little bit later. With the rear ramp, we've designed this in such a way that cleaning is actually quite simple. So obviously a lot of the manure will come off the belt straight under the ramp, and then it's very simple to lift this up, 1 or 2 hands, and the ramp stays up in that position because we've got a gas strut which is installed here. So every day, the staff can actually come out here and raise the ramp quite easily, give it a blowout, give it a sweep out, or whatever. Just a simple case of bringing it back down again. Okay, this machine's got a couple of options. We've got these front barriers here. We've also got these back barriers, which we really do recommend, especially if you're training thoroughbreds. The idea of these is to stop a horse actually getting a leg over the side. It's obviously a very frightening situation when that happens, so we offer this as an option. I understand that not everybody wants to take it on because if you're in the harness racing industry, your horses are generally a lot quieter, so it may not be something that you want to have, but we do recommend to have these barriers in place. Also, we've got the bumpers as well. That's an option. If you want to have those bumpers, that's good. If you don't want to, that's no drama at all. The kicker's down here. It's a completely fabricated steel kicker with a polyethylene kick strip as well. So again, that's very durable. We don't have our belt running up to the kicker. We have our belt running underneath the kicker. So that will never wear out, or should never wear out, I should say. We move around to the side. You'll see it's a very much an open deck type of treadmill. So if you look underneath, it's all clear span. There's nothing to get in the way, and what this actually means is that we can actually get a broom under there quite easily and sweep out the manure. We can get a blower under, one of these new electric style of blowers. You can just blow everything out and keep everything nice and clean under there. We have these guards. If we raise the machine up, we can actually see straight through the guards to the belt itself. Easy for checking condition, and particularly easy for checking the tension of the belt. Treadmills have a tendency to have belts which shrink. They don't actually increase in size. There's a couple of reasons for that, but they do shrink and they do need to be tensioned periodically. When you notice that the belt needs to be tensioned, very simple case, we have these spring-loaded flaps. It's just a case of adjusting the belt at these points here. The flaps are spring-loaded because when you lead a horse off, we don't want to have a horse getting a hoof caught in a hole like that. These fans are completely integrated within the gate. They're high-speed fans. The machine comes standard with 1 fan. We can option it with 2 like this one here. The mesh is specifically made for us for this application. It's a mesh which is compliant with fan regulations, and it's strong enough that it can cope with the rigours of horse movements and so forth. The hydraulics on this machine, it's pretty standard, I guess, in many ways. We use the hydraulic rams here. We've got a power pack on the other side, and on full incline we can achieve 6 degrees. A little bit about the mechanics of the machine itself. We have a couple of different options when it comes to belts. We can go with this style of belt here, which is what we call a truly endless belt. There's no splice in it whatsoever. So the belt's actually manufactured to the correct length for this machine. We can actually replace the belts on these machines without having a separate company coming in and having to do a hot splice in situ. So what that means is we can sell these machines anywhere in Australia, and we can actually get out there with a belt and replace that belt without having to rely on a third party company to come and do part of that work for us. So we actually get to control some of that quality. So this particular belt is a truly endless belt. They do come at an increased cost. We also have the option of a standard spliced belt, but again we get those made to the correct length. Under the belt itself, this is actually quite interesting. We have this 5-layer cushioning for the horses. So we have this compressed mat, which is actually quite soft and airy. We've got different grades of that, and that enables the horses to get a lot of cushioning for their joints. On top of that, we use this, it's a special type of plastic. We actually have to get that made overseas. We can't get that in Australia. So that then sits on top, that all gets bolted down, and then we've got our belt material on top. So this particular belt has got, this is off a spliced belt. It's got 3 layers of carcass material and 5 layers of rubber on top of that. The truly endless belts have the same construction, apart from having, they have an 8mm top layer, so we get a little bit more durability out of them, well, a lot more durability out of them. So this is pretty unique. And this really does help with the impact that horses are going to get through their joints. The rollers themselves, obviously we've got a front and a rear drum, if you like, but then under the machine we have these, what we call support rollers. There's 4 of these. This is something which is very unique. There's no other machine that's got these 5 discs like this. And the good thing here is when a roller gets a lot of manure build up, it actually creates a pretty bad rumbling noise. Sounds like a bearing which is about to fail. We can take the manure off, we can scrape it off, but in a week's time it's back again and it's making that noise again. So what we actually do, we have these rollers manufactured for us. It's the rubber is actually our unique blend. We get that specifically made for our purpose. So it's got a very high durability factor, but it's actually still very soft. We call that a duro rating. It's got a duro rating of 63, which means it's very soft. So what actually happens as manure builds up on these 10 rubber discs, there's 10 of those, and as it gets a bit of tension on it, the rubber compresses and the manure falls off. So for that reason, it's a very, very quiet machine. This and the fact that we've got this 5-layer cushioning means that the machine is incredibly quiet. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. If you've got any questions at all, please give me a call or shoot me an email. Thank you.